Very important. We get calls quite often, they've bent one of these big insert sections. You know what they did? They threw a strap over the top, hooked it to the semi, cranked her down. You know what these things cost? This 15-footer is probably $3,500, just the one side. They just wrecked it. These things, these yellow, chain right through there, come along each end, don't strap the middle down. Use the carriage, obviously we get the carriage off the rail, strap that down, obviously. This is what you hold it down with, okay? Chains work the best, that's how it came on this truck, I will guarantee you. Chain through here, through there, hooked, come along, okay? Do not throw straps over the top or even the bottom and it will bend eventually, it will, because it happens a lot, okay? It's gonna bounce a little bit, it'll be fine, just don't, you know, that's just common sense. Do not throw a strap over the top. Very important. Thank you for the question, that was flipping awesome. I forgot about that. So these red pieces, if you lose one, we've got them. They're bolted on, they used to be pinned on, we bolted them on. There's no real reason to take them off, just isn't. Unless you're using this as a different part of a machine. I mean, to replace it. Yeah, but do not throw a strap over the top. Okay, that is pretty simple but important.
Straps over the top, the red things are for the chains.
Okay, so we got a couple wrenches. We got any more 3/4 inches in case we need one?
Yeah, we got a wrench.
Okay, we're gonna pair up. We're gonna bring the camera underneath when you're ready. So what we're working on here, guys, is the bogies. This is the part that rides on the pipe and are pinned to the machines. Okay, there's 2 idlers without motors on them, and there's 2 with motors. It's a 2-wheel drive machine, this one is. You can make it 4. If you ever run into a place where you're going up a steep hill, there's 2 things you can do. These, we make neoprene wheels, okay, on the drive. That usually fixes it. The only thing, the neoprenes don't work well in wet weather or wet. Otherwise, they work great. They're flat, but they work fantastic, so that's something to remember. We do make, they're not cheap, but they last for a long time, too. We've had guys, 25 years had them on there, and it's amazing. Or you can make this a 4-wheel drive system and put extra bogies if it really gets serious. It matters what you run into, just keep that in mind. There's ways around stuff. Always call the office if you ever run into a problem. They want to talk about it, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to pave this way. This way is east, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. You can see on the machine there where the augers go on the front, so we know we've got to go that way, right? You can drop the machine, turn that thing around if you have. I can show you that later, okay? So we're going to pave that way. So what we want are the idler, the ones without the motors, these are the motors, on the front of the machine. Is that totally necessary? No. You could make it a front wheel drive machine. It doesn't really matter that much. What does matter is this piece is called a rebar pusher. This piece on the outside, that's a rebar pusher. That you want to the inside, okay? Because the rebar usually is going to come up, and you're going to push that away so it doesn't catch the wheels, all right? Okay, so let's start with one of these. The pin comes out. This rebar pusher should just pop off. So 2 guys grab one end there, and that one's going to go on this side. Oops, and you can just set it over by it. We'll lift the machine in a little bit. I would rather have you carry it. So that one's going to go on the front on this side, just the way you have it. Okay. And that shield should just pull right up and off, that little shield. Yep. Try getting that off. It might be kind of stuck on her since it was strapped on her. Yeah, it should just pull up and out. Like I said, maybe take a hammer. But once you get it off once, it'll come off good. Well, there you go, getting it. Okay, so just lay that next to it, that's fine, that's gonna go on. You can pull the pin, you're gonna need the one side of the pin out. Okay, good, so that one gets carried to the other front. Now we're gonna talk about, when he gets back, we're gonna talk about the drive motors, which way I told you to put them. So if you're wanting this rebar pusher, not this, towards the rebar, towards the inside. So what side is this wheel going to go on? And I'm going to, it's going to go, no, it's going to come on this side because it's going to be just like the one you got. And we're going to have the motor, this is the most important part about this, is to have the motor out of the way on the setup part. we won't get to that right now, but that's why we want this motor sticking out the back of the machine, okay? This one does take 2 guys to lift without hurting it because it's heavy, so this one's gonna go on this side. So 2 guys there, because that's pretty heavy with the motor and that. I don't want anybody getting hurt. And just set it over there. Yep, just like that. And I think that's nice. And we gotta have the other one set on the other side. Now what I'm gonna also have you do, I don't know where my wrenches went. We're gonna have you pull, to make life easier, this cover off. And I had wrenches. Let's see here. What do we got here? Here, one of those will work. Just take those 2 bolts is all it is. That makes life a lot easier. Is it necessary? You don't have to do it. But let's just, I like to show it, that way you'll see how it goes a little better too, probably. It's a 9/16, yep. I think we'll do that on the other side too. I don't know where my other wrenches went. I think they have them. Okay, I'm having to pull those 2 bolts on the outside cover off. Pull that cover off. You can see the rod, or you can see the pin better. There you go. You can see what you're doing. This makes life easier. And when you do that, when this machine gets worn, you can check the tension on these chains to make sure they're tight. Okay, you already have the cover off, right? That should be, this is brand new. It should be just like that. If you kind of pull up on the chain there, you can kind of feel how tight it should be. This one should be a little, obviously it's shorter, so it's going to be pretty tight. This one's got a little slack, okay? And that way you can test, because they'll stretch, right? Yeah. All chains stretch. Okay. So we made life a little easier just by doing that. Now we're to the part we're going to pick the machine up, pin these on the legs. When we do that, we want to run the 4x4s, short ones, the other way. Do we have short 4x4s by any chance? There might be some, because we don't want to run it on the wheels.
There's a short one there.
Yeah, just whatever, because it's going to run this way on the frame, okay? We don't want to hit in that cover, but you can stick it out an inch or 2 and running this way. And you can set it on there, and that way, even if you're traveling down the road, you don't have to unpin these if you don't want to, as long as they're not sitting on the wheels. Okay, and they're sitting on, you can run the 4x4 underneath these 3 things, that's fine also. Or 4th, okay? If you want to cut 4x4s here to here, as long as they aren't sitting on the wheels, okay? If you want to unpin them and do like this, that's fine also. The key here is not to have them sitting on the ears. Okay, that makes sense? Yep. Okay, so we're going to have you go ahead and lift this, and we're going to pin these buggers on. And if you get some 4x4s, okay, I'm pinning. Okay, that's good.
Move that.
Okay, you can move that out of the way. I'm going to. Okay, so you got the pin pulled out of there. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you're going to want that underneath there eventually. You take that pin, take 1 pin out of the side.
Yeah.
I'll help. I'll slide the pin in if you want.
Okay. Yeah. Hey. Up.
Yep, it's going to go up between.
Just like that.
Okay, here you go. Here's the pin. Stick that in. You're good. You can let go of it.
There you go.
Good. Okay.
And then?
We'll just stick the front one on. We'll line them up. We're done. Okay, the front one's a little easier because it's not as flipping heavy. Okay, here's the pin. We'll get this on camera. Okay, drive wheels in the back. The main thing is to have this motor out the back. Make sure it's out here. I'll explain why later. That's what we want. We want this lighter shield on the outside and this in the back, okay? All right.
Right there.
Here's a you can tap on it with this or that. Here. Okay, we can set it down without the cover on. We'll set it down first, and we'll put the covers on. You want to have the 4x4s run just like, you don't want them sitting on the wheel, so everybody at the corner, and he'll go slow. It should work good. Okay, I think we're good to go down.
Good. Come on.
Everybody's good?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
On.
Yeah, good.
On. Back up. Back up. A little back up.
Okay, we're gonna lift it one more time, so we're not gonna unhook him. It'll be pretty shortly here. Okay, just have him take the tension off it. We're gonna lift it in just a little bit, so just leave it where it's at, and then we're gonna do it here shortly. We're just gonna loosen the legs. You guys get those covers back on if you want. Wrenches, did I take your wrenches?
So you said we can have these? Them motherfuckers just stole your candy. What you gonna do?
Well, that's so damn tight. That's good enough for now anyway. Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do is lift this thing on the pipe, right? Well, the pipe doesn't match the legs, right? These legs will slide in and out, all right? So what we need to do is loosen all the locks on all 4 legs, line them up with the pipe. As we pick it up, we can slide the legs in or out, but these are going to go all in, okay? So does anybody know where the locks are? You're going to need to see this around probably. Okay, nope, that's for your pivot legs. Okay, the locks are under here. I'll point to it. Okay, so there's 2 locks on each leg, all right? Right here, these 2 bolts. And there's one there's one similar to it right on the top. You won't see it in the picture, but they'll know what you're looking at, okay? These got to be super duper loose, because obviously this is what keeps your legs from sliding, but we want them to slide, right? So we want them really loose. See that? We don't want them binding. And we're gonna do all 4 right now, okay? I'm gonna let you guys do that. I showed you this one. I'm gonna let you guys climb up there. This one's easy, has a leg. You get it? They sometimes tighten it. We want these things tight if you can have them. Now a little lesson. Let's say we're gonna pour. How many legs do we have tight on the machine during the pour? This is very important. Anybody got an answer?
How many what now?
How many legs in your pouring are tight? How many of these are locked? How many are locked?
All of them.
Nope. How many? Not 2 either.
None.
Not that one. There's only 1 left. There we go. There we go. One leg. Why that is, your pipe may be crooked. There may be forms crooked, whatever, right? We want these things to go in and out, all but 1 leg. We have 1 leg tight to hold the crown, if there's a crown, where it needs to be, right? That machine, that will keep this truss from sliding back and forth. But the legs, all other 3 legs can float. If you lock more than that, especially if you lock 4 of them, you're gonna drive off the pipe and you're gonna have a mess, okay?
Better be dead straight.
And I wouldn't gamble on any of that when you're pouring, because nobody's gonna be looking. 1 leg, and if you come into a place where you're on a super, right? You're going to bridges super like this. They call anything over 2% or even less a super. And all of a sudden, these locks might not hold, okay? Because that's a lot of weight. If it's a long machine, you lock still 1 leg, and you can put a come along on the top from the truss to the leg to keep that truss from sliding. I'll explain that to you later, okay? And it really is no way to show it to you here, and that's okay. But that's a question where you might want to call into the shop, hey, what do I do? We're on this super, I don't want this thing sliding downhill, the truss, you know, we don't want to mess. We'll tell you, put a come along on it. In a rare instance, we might tell you to lock 2 legs, but I doubt it, and they would be on the same side. Okay, very important, 1 leg locked. Another important thing with the leg locks, before the pour, go around and check there's only 1 leg. Even if you know yesterday that's what you did, Let me tell you a little horror story. Brian Severson that sold you this machine was on a job, ready to pour right away in the morning. They went to take off. They went about 100 feet, drove off the pipe. They couldn't figure out why. Because what happens is the machine, one side always walks faster than the other, and if you're not paying attention, you're going to drive off the pipe. You can, it's easy to fix. You just advance with the side that's got to catch up. But they didn't pay attention. Well, one of the mechanics or one of the carpenters went around and seen these bolts were loose. Okay, tighten them all. They didn't know it. He didn't tell anybody. He thought he was doing a good thing, right? Not his fault, but this is why I'm telling you, you guys know now, one leg. Make sure you check them the day right before the pour. Somebody, make sure everybody on the crew, carpenters, finishers, whoever, because those finishers might be down here and look up and go, hey, that bolt's loose, man. Tighten it, right? Don't do that. One leg. What leg has to be tight? Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna put you on the spot. It doesn't matter. I like to do it over there where I'm running the machine because I can see it's tight. One of those. Whatever. Either one. I like it just because I'm sitting on the machine, I can see it. So what you can do on a bridge, when you get it out there and you're not setting it on the bridge, have it damn close, like this.
Okay.
You know, basically picture this, and then when you lift it up with a crane or whatever you're setting it, you got to have those loose. You for sure, even if you're messing with it, you want to make sure that the bottom ones can be locked when you're picking it with the crane.
Okay.
Leave the top ones loose, because that way you can reach the bottom ones easier,
okay,
and loosen the legs to move it. Okay.
Okay.
High enough?
Yeah, I think so. What did I hit? I hit something solid. You hit something too?
It started to go.
Yeah, I moved mine about 6 inches, then it quit.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm hitting. Probably.
It's kind of moving now.
I don't know what I'm catching on. They should go pretty easy. You're two? Let's see what you're. Wonder.
It was back pretty.
Yeah, I can move it back and wonder if we're hitting that.
I'll watch here. Here, I'll push this forward and keep an eye on mine, see what it touches.
Okay.
Huh?
There you go.
That's over.
Just a little, probably had a little bound up. That's yours far enough. Let's do that one.
Ready, set,
Yep.
go.
Okay, good enough. Right, we'll just get it, that's close enough. We'll get this side on. Go a little higher.
A little higher.
Okay.
You hold it by yourself, don't let it take you away, DJ.
We're gonna go, can you push that in? I'll hold this flat. A little more. Okay, that one.
Push.
You don't want the leg to go. What are we not? Loose there. Try pushing back towards me here.
Oh.
See some move?
Right. Shouldn't go that fucking hard. What are we catching on? Those are loose. Well, let's try it here. Let's push it back my way.
Yeah.
Okay, now back your way. Just a minute, we're both pulling on the bottom. Now what the fuck? Shouldn't pull that hard.
Oh, are they loose?
They should be loose up.
Yeah. And this is all kind of moving.
That bolt's a little tight. We're binding. Just a little. Oh, we might be hitting that thing. Okay. There. Stick it in here and we can get a needle.
That way. On that. A little more.
A little more. Need a smaller piece of wood.
Right there. That should be it.
How about the back one? That one's pretty good. Got to go in with it.
Quite a bit.
A little more. Oop, sorry. Oh, hit you in the head there. Those are good.
There you go. Hydraulic.
Whoa! Up! Yep. Yep.
You're on, right?
I'm on here.
Okay.
Am I on?
You look on. You need help?
Got it? All right.
There, that one's going to be good. What do you need in the back? Anything? Good?
I think this whole thing is done.
Needs to go in, right? Or out? There you go. Okay. Oh. You're too far.
There you go up, you can go back in.
There you go. All right, we're good. Got to have help there. Okay.
Good.
Watch.
Is that on?
Ready? Okay. So we have to hook the drive hoses to these bogies right here, okay? What happens if you hook these things up and this side travels that way and that side travels that way?
Yeah, I gotta go nowhere.
You're gonna have problems, aren't you? You just got to change the hose, which is where. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
There really isn't a magic way to do it. That's how you do it. All right. So we got to get the drive hoses down and hook them up. Okay. Okay. The connections, as far as what goes where, trial and error works the best. Stick them on. If it goes the wrong direction, we'll just flip those two. Take them off, put them on the other direction. Okay. Make sure they're clean. That's great. Make sure those ends are clean. It's easy to do now. It's new. It's not easy to do when it's full of concrete, which it shouldn't be anyway. But
Only fit one way.
yep, either one. It doesn't. Yeah, they'll go on either side. So that's why we'll know until we start it and which way it travels if we got it right. And if I've got a 50-50 chance, 100% of the time I'm wrong. That's just how it is. Anywhere there is fine. We'll have to zip tie them later. Yeah, that's plenty.
Zip time back up here?
We'll see where we end up here, and then yeah, we'll have to probably do it. There's zip ties in that gray box.
Oh, awesome. I can still use these ones here.
Like they color code that.
They do, but the problem with that is if it's on the other side of the machine, because you can turn this machine backwards, then it's backwards. So it's one of those deals. Once you get it on here right, you can mark it with a piece of tape. See those green rings? That's used in chicken farming. They go around the legs. We have different ones. If you go up there, the green ones around this bulkhead will be for that. There's a bulkhead here with the same deal. Yellow, we have yellow, red, green, blue. So you know what the hoses are for, you just don't know which one they go on here. This is really the only one that does that, but it's...
See the knife? Hey, man.
Push.
Damn.
Yeah, push harder.
That's what she said.
No, I'm getting it out.
That motor got pressure in it? Shouldn't have.
He didn't want to go on.
Oh,
I got that ball right there, dude.
That's supposed to be that. Has that got pressure on it? Can you push it in?
Pressure.
Well, what the hell is it going on?
Oh, no, it's going on pretty easy.
Yeah, they should pop right in and off.
Now push the.
Yeah, it should just pop on her. Try the other one on this one. See if that works. We might have pressure in that hose. I bet we do now.
Could be wrong.
Okay, we just had a problem with the female quick connect. The rubber O-ring in there was broke. Sometimes you'll see a slice in them. Sometimes they just break, and that one happened to break all the way off and break in half and got in the way. We couldn't even get it on. Otherwise, what will happen if they're cracked or whatever, they'll just leak. But this case, we couldn't get it on, so we changed it out with another hose, and we'll send you a new one.
So if there's a leak, that would be one of the first things.
Right, if you see stuff coming, it's going to leak right here. So it's usually you can't get it on, or you'll know right away. But if you don't, you'll see fluid running. These guys know. Check the O-ring in there. There's a black O-ring in there. If you want a picture of it, sitting on my book over there. Okay. Pave. Okay. We want to go this way.
Okay.
That's what we're hoping. Okay, this is how fast you go. Notice we're not moving yet?
Yeah.
Because all the oil flows through here, right?
Okay.
Let's see what happens here if I open it up. I want to travel, not pave. I told you the wrong.
Okay.
Pave is moving now. We don't want to do that because we got shit in the rail. That's why we do things slowly. Okay, we're going the wrong way on this side for sure.
On this side?
Yep. So we got to go. Go ahead and shut the engine off. We tried that. This side we know is backwards. This is going to move first because all the oil isn't through there. So we need to reverse those two hoses down there, okay? Just what you put on, take them off, switch them around. Then we'll try the other side and do the same. Like I said, if you have 50-50 chance, I'm wrong every time, so it doesn't matter.
Do we need the safety rails up on this?
We will need them. We got them up here. We're going to do all that too here in a second. We want to. We're not done unpacking yet. Okay, ready? We just want to get this thing out of there. Okay, we're going to have them start the engine. We're going to try it. Go ahead.
It's going in now.
You can. Just a minute. All right. So we're in travel. We're going that direction. We got speed. Now it should go the other direction.
That one's backwards.
Okay. Go ahead and shut the engine off. So that side was also backwards. Like I said, 100% of the time I'm wrong, so don't go by that.
And we got a leak.
Yeah, leak.
Okay, pull it off. I got it. We got it off. So check that O-ring. It might have been some shit in there. They come out of it in pieces.
There's a piece, but the rest of it is still good.
And if the piece is in there, then it means it's not good. Change that in. We got to find another one. We'll move. Then as soon as he's done there, we'll just stop. Then okay.
Why are we taking that one off?
It's got a fucked up O-ring.
That one has a bad O-ring too. Yep, that's what
Had a chunk taken out of it.
Well, I'm making a phone call. Don't worry. What we're going to do is install the fogger. This is the reel system. It's going to take a while. You don't need to record this whole thing. But what we're going to do is put the brackets on to hold this orange reel that's sitting over there. You'll see it when we're done. You don't have to necessarily do this whole process when you move the machine, but to travel down the road, sometimes you have to for the width of the machine, but sometimes you don't. So this isn't going to come this far apart again, but you may have to take the reel off. So it's pretty simple. Probably just show you what it looks like when it's done. Good video. They're putting a bracket up top. They're going to put a bracket over it, and then the reel on there. It's just bolt together stuff. It's not very hard. As you can see right now, there's nothing on it, and then you can see when we get done here, okay? Get her tight. He's working over there. I'll explain what we just did then. You don't need, we'll explain why and what. I got to go through that yet. Okay, we're going to put the drag pan wishbone we call on here, what you guys just put together over there. When we get it up here, you'll be able to see and we'll point what we did. Go ahead and carry it over. It's going to slide in these two pockets. So it's upside down right now. So flip it over. Okay, now it's a two-person job. You want to at least, we want to be over here. We're going to slide it right in these two pockets. I got this side, you get that in, good deal. Okay, let that end down a little bit. Okay, now up a little bit. Now we're going to slide it in until your back is flush with those pockets, okay? Should be pretty. No, we got to go in more. Pick your end and slide it a little bit more. Kind of wiggle it back and forth. Not up and down so much, just back and forth. There you go. Pick it up. Oop, too far. Come back out so you're flush in the back. You got about an inch or two. A little bit more. There you go. I'm pretty good. You don't want to be perfect, by the way. How's it, pretty flush?
I'm about half an inch.
Okay, then just turn it in or out.
I'm past the...
Okay, so you're good. There we go.
There you go.
Okay, okay, we're good. Okay, this is where a drag pan unit...
We tighten this up?
Not yet. This is where we get our drag pan unit. So we put this in here, and I want you guys all to be here when I say this. Okay. This part, what was your name again?
DJ.
DJ, this is not bright. We took this jack out and flipped it the other way, because when we shipped this new, we put this together like you're going to pour on a skew, when the whole machine's going to be on a skew. So this is the correct way for a straight across bridge where the machines run straight across. These pockets, when you go to a skew, first of all, this carriage just goes down 5 inches. We'll do that in a little bit. These pockets and everything move down here, okay? They bolt down below. There's 2 bolts on each side. You take those out, move those pockets, flip this upside down like we had it. Okay, so you're gonna have to flip this upside down too. Basically, that's why we have this drop here. Okay. Because when you pour a skew, it's just the opposite. This bottom carriage doesn't move. On a normal pour, the top one skews. You'll understand once we do it. We aren't gonna do a skew, but you'll understand once we start. This is the proper way on a square bridge. So you want pictures, square bridge. Pockets are up top. Flush out, you want these drops going down. It will work if it's upside down, but this jack has to be extended all the way down and it gets kind of wiggly. It takes you 5 minutes to do it the right way. I like to do it. Some people aren't that picky. I am. I take all the opportunity of bad things happening out of the realm of what's gonna happen, because we got plenty of other options.
You like picky.
Yeah, so okay, so what we're gonna do now though, since we've got this wrong, we're not wrong, we have it too far back. Let's loosen these bolts, slide this bar out a little further. Here you go. I was just a guess back there. We're gonna slide it out so that bar's about out to here. Okay? Then we'll put the other piece. The pans themselves, you can leave because they won't be in the mud, but we will need all the brackets like that one right in front of you and all that. And the brackets here, yep, we need all 3 of those. But the pans themselves, I guess we can hang them on there so we know what they look like. That's all right. Let's do that. You're smarter than I am. Let's do that. Grab the bracket and grab the other pan. This is your final finish. It'll be 2 pans, and if you decide to use burlap or grass, AstroTurf. That's whatever your state requires.
How far back?
We want it back, so you got plenty. Let's see. I'd say a hair more. There, good. It's all eyeball. There's no magic measurement here. Okay. Now, let's see where we're at with.
So what's the idea of sliding that back?
Because we have to have a drag pan. We're going to try to get one in here, one here, and then your other stuff there. Okay. We want to be as close to the motor as we can get, but we also want to have enough clearance if something, we got a little clearance.
Movement or whatever.
Yep. Okay, and there's a trick to all those. We're probably going to have to move. We'll go ahead and finish, and I'll have you stop a sec. Sorry about that. I kind of just eyeball this bar even with this part of the frame. Okay, see this part, this main frame of this carriage, if it's kind of like that, if say about right here, that's just an eyeball deal. There's stuff in the book that'll actually tell you measurements, but I can usually get close enough just by doing it. So we're going to end up sliding this whole jack up about 3 inches. We don't have a lot of adjustment there. Go up about 3-4 inches. We got plenty going down. And as long as it moves up, that's loose enough. There you go, wiggle it. It should go up. Okay, there you go. That's plenty high. We can go down. That's good. Perfect. Oop, I like it. Good and tight. Okay, and that can go, yeah, we follow the book on that because there's kind of about 4 different spots you can put it. You can put it there, you can put it down here. Yeah, you can sure do that. I mean, it's wherever matters on a skew, you wouldn't get by with that. You'd have to be down here, but here you probably can. Oh, this side's turning a little bit. I'll give you another, that top one there. Okay, you got a 3/4 there? Nope, you don't, do you? I'm gonna have you tighten the pocket ones down. There you go. Makes it kind of flush, should be good enough. Tighten that top nut, or tighten it down and then put the locking nut tight.
What was that 9/16 jet?
Let's see, right here.
Might be a 5/8 on that's the one.
I think a 9 will work on the other part. Okay. Okay.
We got it back off.
Well, you have to back it off more.
So the bar I was looking at was this part of the frame right here, about even there. We're pretty close. And how you adjust that is simple adjustment here. You can go down or up. It gives us a little, loosen these two, turn her up or down. Now, as you can see, if you put your level on here, this should be level, pretty close. It's not really, is it? How we change that? Right here, okay? Those 2 bolts, we want to actually, looks like it's hanging down in the back. We want to tighten that up. I don't have a wrench on me. I don't know if I have one that fits. Maybe I do.
Level this machine before?
No, it doesn't have to be that close. It's a good question. Right now, we're just trying to get everything on there and get it close. We're going to be running uphill anyway, so we're just going to kind of get it, eyeball it. You don't even have to put a level on if you want. If you stand back, you know it's pretty good enough.
So
That's not
out in the field. It doesn't have to. Doesn't need to be perfect.
Doesn't need to be perfect. You don't want it terrible though. You know what I mean? You don't have to be perfect though on this stuff. There is stuff on here I'll be very adamant about. Okay, oop, that's mine. Okay, So we're gonna, yep, it is 3/4, and we're gonna do is we're gonna pull that top, so we actually got to loosen the outside more. Yep, we want to go out.
Go that way. Yeah, so you want to loosen the inside.
Yes, we want to go. Yep, we want to go. That's right. That's right. Yep, I was backwards. We want to go in. Oops, that doesn't work very well, does it?
You all from here?
Changed it quite a bit.
Yes, good. Looks great.
Am I close? You can step back and tell me. I can't see when you're too close to something. You can't tell. It's just like crazy women.
Pretty good.
Can't always tell when you're staring. Too much?
Put a level on there, Donnie.
Yeah, we got a level.
I'm gonna grab one from here.
Looks pretty good.
Pretty good. And like I said, this isn't life or death as far as perfect, but you want it somewhat right. Pretty easy adjustment, as you've seen. 2 nuts, especially if you. Okay, he's got the right idea. So that's the drag pan unit, and I believe you have it. Let's see correctly. Watch your melon there. Oops, you're on it.
This level?
A second, there we go.
They need to go up a little bit. Go down a little bit then.
Down just a little. Okay.
It's right on the line, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty close.
Have them put the stuff on it. We'll check it again when we have all the parts on. Okay. So go ahead. So this is.
Go down.
Yeah, just like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So your drag. This is the burlap part. You're on. You're starting to buy, which is fine. So you got it exactly right. It's going to go, and you can put it into here somewhere, wherever you're feeling. This is always adjustable. When you start, once you get it all put together, you can always fine tune it. Okay. But why we're doing all this and getting everything on here is the weight. Okay. You can't do the setup without all the weight on the carriage because you're going to deflect the machine down when you get more weight. You cannot have a guy up. You can be up there now. You cannot have a guy up there when we're doing the adjustments for that. You cannot do. You can do it now. You got to be a ladder, and you can't be sitting on it because guess what? That's 200 pounds of weight pushing down. He gets off, it changes everything. Okay. So this is why we're getting by with all this right now. We're trying to put all this stuff on and get all the weight on there we need. That's gonna be on there. So we got a couple, Brad, you can put that level down for a while. Because we got 2 more brackets to go.
Yeah, one go here, one there. Shut down, Jeff.
Okay, yep.
Go.
Okay, drag pan mount. This is called an H bracket. You'll see this is offset over here. Why this is made to slide is mostly for a skewed deck. You can put one this way and the next one in the front because it's dual pan over here. And when you get close to the edge, it gets closer to the edge of the drag pan, okay? We're gonna do a square deck first. So we're gonna try to just center this nipple right here in the middle. It goes right on the bottom of that nipple right there. He's tightening. Okay, that's good. We'll slide it up. It goes this way. Not like this, but like this, okay? All right. Let me loosen this. Get those. Okay, you got a hold of that. Okay. Oops, I'm dropping tools. Then as far as this, you can slide over. Does that look pretty centered? Whatever you think is centered. Probably a little your way, actually. We're a little crooked too, but okay. Let's tighten that up. We got it backwards this way. Okay. A little crooked yet, but we can sure change that. I get this tight, I'll give you my wrenches here. I'll let you guys do it. Here you go. There, you got one? Okay, you need it, it's there. So you're gonna have to go forward with this bracket. You're gonna have to go almost to the front of it. About, you got clearance there? That's pretty good, actually. You can go a hair more, maybe? Let's go a hair more. And center that up. This one. I'm gonna want to turn that. Dropping all the shit out of my pocket.
Oh, you ready for that thing?
I want to do that because I just want to turn this just a little bit. There we go. It looks a little better, doesn't it? Or did I go too far?
Just a hair.
Let's see what happens when I tighten. That's pretty good. Okay, that's good enough for now. There is a wrong way to put these on. I will go through that in just a second, okay? You wouldn't think there would be, but there is a big time. So that's wrong. I'll show you why in just a second when we get these too tight.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, yep, it goes at 45 degrees. There you go. And I'll show you in a sec why that's wrong when they get theirs done. Everything tight. I did go a little too far, didn't I? Oh well. Okay, go ahead and, the proper way is, if you remember, these rods on this drag pan run with the truss of the machine, okay? If you do this, it will work for a little while until all of a sudden you turn around, there's a big chunk of mud out. When you change directions, it's gonna go boom. And there's nowhere for today, and it'll dig it out. It might last an hour, it might be the second time. So make sure these are like so, okay? Now, you grab that side and I'm gonna grab this side. What generally we like to do is 4 links hanging out the back side, okay? So you stick that whole the link through there, and you got 4 sticking out. 1, 2, 3, I was off one, 4. You do the same thing on that side, you got 4 hanging out, okay? You can adjust this a little bit. You can go 3. I've done 3 many times. It's no big deal. But you got to have a little give. Okay? That one, and you do the one in the front just like it. You may have to even move that one in the front a little further ahead, but we'll see. You want a little gap between them. Here's not a big deal because the burlap, you got to cut 3 inches, so we could always adjust it. There's plenty of room. So hang 4 out the back side. And this is where now you got everything on it. If you want to level it, or if you just want to eyeball it, it's fine. Make sure it's pretty good, you know what I mean? Okay, so these 2 pans are touching, right?
Right.
You can either move this one back a little bit, and we have room to go forward there a little bit, but to be honest with you, we're not skewed. I'd probably move this one back 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches, okay? Let's just do it. And then that's a good deal. That's something to see here. That's great that we got to see that. The burlap will go in here and gets pinched in here. It looks like a stupid design, but it actually works quite well. There's a certain way to fold the burlap. It's in your book. Whatever you do, you kind of want the front of the burlap up just a whisker higher than the back, so when it comes forward it doesn't dig, because it's going to go forward. They get pinched in these things, okay? Here's a little helpful hint. The burlap, to adjust how much is hanging down,
Okay.
Don't worry about trying to repinch it during a pour.
The burlap, I guess, just gives us our finish.
That gives, if some places don't let you use it, some require it, some require AstroTurf, which we sell. There's a certain type that works and some doesn't.
Put like a broom finish on that.
Yeah, exactly. So the state guys will tell you what you need to do. Some people won't allow you to do it. Some states tell you to do it. I will kind of go through the burlap while they're changing that. So let's say you got burlap on here. It's pinched in here, but it's too low, right? It's hanging too much. Pull this whole thing out, wind it a quarter turn, stick it back in, tighten it up. Don't try to repinch the burlap because you'll
Fail.
If you're really religious, you won't be when you get done because you're in a hurry. Okay, you kind of run this flush anywhere in here is fine. You know what I mean? So when you get that thing, what I always do, if they always want to soak the burlap, get the burlap set where you think it is the night before. Take these out, roll them up, stick the whole thing in the tub, metal and all. Sit overnight, put them on here. You can adjust it a quarter turn at a time. Do you understand what I'm saying there? Yeah. They don't have to be exactly like that. They can turn a quarter way at a time. It doesn't matter about this part, as long as it's pinched in there, okay? And like I said, some places, some states tell you, no, don't use that. Some tell you got to use AstroTurf. Canada is big for AstroTurf because it's shitty weather up there, okay? As far as, I have no idea what Oklahoma is. I don't know. I've been here in Oklahoma, worked before, but I don't know, I don't remember. To be honest with you, some bridge designs, it just matters bridge to bridge too. So that, with the burlap, minus that, we're not gonna put that on because you can look in the book. It shows you just wrap it around it and pinch it and then roll it up, okay? You want 3 folds in it. I might even have a sheet on it too. So that's what it should look like when you're done. That bar's pretty close to there. If you go to adjust it, loosen these up or down. You got about 2 inches up, right? The rest you can go about 8 inches down at least, okay? You won't need 8 inches down. You'll probably need, by the looks of it, maybe even up a little. But if you run into, you can always move this even further up if you loosen these 3, okay? But it looks pretty good to me. I like it. You guys did a good job. Looking in the book and seeing pictures always help me. I can tell you that right now. Okay.
Take that bag of bolts out.
All right. So that's the drag pan stuff. That's what it should look like. Get pictures, get video of this, get it where everything is. The adjustments are here, there. So this, I can tell right away, isn't centered. We've got 12 inches here, 14 there. We got to go over an inch. That's just this right here, okay? You want to kind of have it centered. So as I explained on a skewed deck earlier, we're going to touch that a little bit here. You can slide this drag pan all the way over here, put that one all the way over there. Okay, that way you're getting close to the edge both ways, right? This pocket will get moved down to here. Okay, there's 2 bolts get taken out. Okay, on both sides. This gets flipped around the other way. Okay, that'll be on a skewed deck only, because that bottom locks in on a skewed deck. Square deck up here, just like it is, okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Pretty easy. Once you do a skewed deck a few times and you get all the BS out of the way, it isn't that hard. But it's knowing all the tricks and all the stuff that has to happen. Okay, so we've got that all together. We got that on. We can have guys working on putting that stuff on here, your hose and that stuff on your fogger. I can just need 2 guys up here with me, 1 or 2 guys. We're just gonna put the augers on. We're gonna take a video of that instead of this, okay? This is just hoses that'll stay there. They just unplug. The clamps, you can see how they clamp on just by looking at these, okay? These are already on. They plug into here, okay? Just look in the book, it shows you that. Okay, I need an auger man with me, an auger man and guard, and this will take about 2 minutes, but it's very important, okay? Okay, as you can see, 2 different colors, right? Eventually that'll wear off. At the end, this one has a big R welded on it. This has a big L, okay? You look in here, that's backwards. The way we have it set right now is wrong, okay? So I'll have you guys switch them around. pick one, put it the other side, don't put them on yet. Okay, that is going to be the correct way. And how you can tell the easiest way, I can get in front of this machine and I can lay my arms right like this. Okay, they fit right in there. I can grab it, right? If they're backwards, if I have it backwards and I try to put my right arm in the other one, I can't do it, right? It lays right across the top. Does that make sense? Lays in, lays across the top. Okay, that is the correct way right now because I can grab with both hands. Okay, this is something all of us have screwed up one way or another. It's easy to do, easy not to check. You got them on, yep, good enough. Check the directional. They push the mud away, not suck it in. Okay, safety part of this insulation. A lot of people, well, I can't tell the difference between left and right. I'll just leave a bolt in here on one of them and allow to the other one, right? Pretty simple, right? Problem with that is, two people I know, one guy got skinned from the waist down, broke both his legs, still isn't right. The other guy's ankle broke from here down, pulled him clear underneath the machine. Want to know why? Because they leaned up against this thing with that bolt in there. Guess what it grabbed? His pants, skinned him the waist down, pulled everything off him. They found him curled under the machine, still alive, barely. He lived, I'm not sure he wants to, okay? If this thing is running, you hit this times it just turns, okay? It has to turn to get this thing down. When you're cleaning them, big no-no, take the bolts out. Even if you touch it without the bolt, bad things can happen, but you know something bad's gonna happen with the bolt in there. We don't want any of that, okay? That's the safety part. Here's the other part. Every time you wash and take these augers off, which is almost every time, unless it's a short job, grease these. Overnight, I swear to God, they can rust. And they can rust enough in a week, they have to torch these whole things off and start over. We see it all the time. Grease these shafts, you won't have a problem. You decide you don't need to one night, it's good enough, wash it all off. You better leave the augers off, that's fine. Then grease them before you put them on. If you do not, we don't guarantee anything besides you'll be torching it off sooner or later, okay? There's a little grease on here now, but not much. So that's what we're gonna do now. We're just gonna grease, then we'll show that putting this on. So the truth, we had a guy 1 week later, can't get it off. Torched, heated them up, whatever they did, they finally had to cut the whole shaft, start over with the shafts and everything. Anybody that's been around metal stuff, they know it, just weird shit happens. But that other deal, we did our school this year, and I was talking about that guy getting caught on the machine. The guy goes, that was me. And I said, it was you? He goes, no, it happened to me. And he showed me the picture. The guy working with me started throwing up.
Oh shit.
Okay, and right away it'll have R&L on the front. And it's simple. But when that wears off, remember you can grab it standing right in front. It makes a V this way, pushing out. You want to push out. Awesome, you got a bolt. Okay. Okay, here's the other bolt. When you're ready, I'll hand it to you. Yep. Here, I got a rag somewhere. There you go, here's the nut. Should have the wrenches on the ground there.
These things spin pretty fast?
300 RPM, they're not that fast. There's a lot of power there though. And it pushes, like I said, you know, it'll push. If in ideal, you want that row of mud in front of here up halfway, up these. It's not going to perfect. On each end, maybe nothing, because you're getting to the end, and you don't want to bury the guys in the end. In the middle, maybe even more. But that's up to the pump guy deal. And that doesn't mean the whole bridge is this full all the way out, because then you're going to get way too much. But you want that row. If he's watching this, he's out 8-10 feet, he can see, hey, I got the right amount. This is where I want to be on top of the rebar. Hey, I'm too low. Let's shoot some in there, you know. So when I spent 3 years on a bridge when I was in the 80s, working for a bridge crew, so I did all the crap work. I was in college. I did the hose deal. You're good at, you get good at that, everybody's your friend. You're not good at it, everybody hates you. So, okay, so now, as you can see, they got it on. You need here's a rag. You can see it makes a perfect V out. Okay, I can pick it up. I can put my hands in here. If it was backwards, I can't get my hand in there. Okay, makes sense. You got it on right. You have grease on there, plenty. Who cares how much? Now we're going to put this auger guard. This slides on in this version. Okay, which can be a bitch right away. Okay, that's all it does is sit on there. That's probably not down all the way, but just about. There we go. There aren't side pieces on here. We've never found a good way of doing it. You can put rubber or something, a mesh actually works better. You can see if you want, but honestly, just keep your feet out of there. It's probably going to push you away anyway. I've had my foot under one of these in the 80s. It's not pretty scary, but it didn't hurt me because it just, and that was stupid, admittedly. Just stay away from them if you can. Okay. All right. So that's extra weight we're going to have up there, right? Everything's on here. The drag pans themselves actually don't need to be on because they're dragging in the mud. There's no weight there. Okay, so we'll take them off, but it was great we got to put them on. Okay, they're just putting the hoses on for the fogger. Really not much to see because they're pretty much going to stay there, and they just clamp on, and you can show it when they're done is probably the best deal. You know what I mean? From the tank, but all this stuff is all, you can see how they have it plumbed and stuck on there, and that should all work fine. Okay.
Get a 2% slope.
This or a crown?
Well, it's going to be this way down.
Just a super, okay.
The crown is going to be in the middle, right? And then this will be in the bottom area. So to adjust your 2% slope, can you raise that back end up, bring the thing all the way over there, measure the bottom side of that?
Well, it matters if you're talking a slope or a crown, because you're right. It's going to be a flat machine.
This way.
You're flat machine, but you're running on you're running on half the bridge, so you're going to do this half 2% and this half 2%, right? Okay. So you're just going to run a flat machine. You're going to level it out. You're going to figure out where you need to be with the. Okay. We just installed the fogger system and the plumbing. We didn't video that part for the fact that it's simple. It's just simple brackets to install. There's the nozzles. These are off right now. In this position, they're off. If they're turned this way, they're on. That way is off. Okay. The water for this system, this is a fogging system. It fogs the atmosphere. It does not put water into concrete. These nozzles kick out 1 gallon per hour. That's it. Comes from the tank up here. That's already installed. The only thing we haven't installed is the hose from the tank to here. Don't need to, we're not using it. This is the reel. Don't wreck it. Very expensive. Okay, a couple grand, won't even touch it. Water comes here, pressurized, goes down to the drag pan part and the carriage, which was already installed. Okay, here's the carriage ones. There's one on each side. The nozzles, as you can see, point straight out, not down. So it's atmosphere, not concrete getting wet when your state guy argues with you. Okay, on off. This is your Chinese finger deal that keeps it from pressure. That will, so when we run this carriage back and forth, this reel will keep up and run back and forth. Okay, we'll show you that once we get going and get it set up. They did a good job. I didn't have to help them squat. You looked in the book. It's just simple plumbing.
Good.